guys, so you saw the other day that I picked fresh satsuma oranges from my girlfriend's garden, and today I'm going to teach you how to pickle citrus. This works for any citrus. That works for lemons, limes, oranges, grapefruit. The one thing that you might want to be aware of is though that the thinner the skin is, the better it is and the more delicious and the flavor is released. So when it comes to lemons, I really prefer Meyer lemons. This is my first time doing oranges, so what I learned about oranges is you do want to top them off with a little bit of lemon juice. You'll see that fermenting foods is really easy. 2 cheap ingredients, the food and salt, and if you have high blood pressure, please be careful about the salt and ask your doctor whether or not that's a good idea for you. So I have a pre-sterilized jar. I put this in the dishwasher. Again, our ancestors were doing this, so I don't get too crazy with anything. I have a very fine sea salt that you can see. If you'd like to know the brand, I'll go ahead and put that in the notes at a later time. 2 tablespoons of sea salt just go in the bottom of this jar. And then I'm going to start slicing up my satsuma oranges. And this can be as easy as doing limes or lemons. I'm going to slice off the bottom of each side. And then I'm going to cut almost to the end. You'll see that it's a cut that just goes almost to the very bottom in fourths, but it doesn't cut all the way. And then I take about a half a tablespoon and pour it into each side, kind of like, remember those origami fortune teller things? You open up each side, put the salt in there, and then you put it into the jar. And I'm gonna do this until the jar is filled, and I'll also smush it down so the juices come out. You can use anything to muddle, which means to smush the juices out. I like to use this flat French rolling pin. I don't make a lot of bread anymore because I'm allergic to wheat, and my husband has some thyroid stuff, so we avoid wheat a lot, but I do have this beautiful rolling pin that I find really helpful. So I'm gonna just cut up this entire stack of oranges. Sometimes if there's not a thick bottom, you don't have to cut it, but you do want to cut where the blossom side was. So I have clean hands. This is a food that I'm gonna be leaving out on my kitchen counter for about a month. And you'll see that I'll show you maybe over in another video what it looks like over the course of a month. And you don't have to slice off both bottoms, but definitely the part that was attached to the tree. I think there's some kind of chemical in there that makes everything a little bit sour. This is a very messy process. I don't try to get too clean with it. I don't get fancy. I am a lazy cook. And what I mean, and make sure there are no bugs in there too, because these came off a natural tree. So, you know, there might be a critter or two in there. There's no spraying. My friend doesn't spray. She gardens biodynamically, which means she puts everything in the ground at a certain time, picks everything according to the moon cycle. You don't have to do that. If you're just getting fresh fruits and vegetables into your life, you are way ahead of the game. So I'm really excited to use these. And you may be wondering, how do you use fermented oranges or fermented lemons? Well, anywhere you would use oranges or lemons or limes. So if you'd use them in a salad, or if you'd use them in a braise or with fish, they are amazing. I know somebody who, you know, uses them, finishes a jar every week. Her mother, you know, makes her a jar of these things every single week, and she uses them all up. So I know that stores like Trader Joe's carry them, Whole Foods will carry them, specialty stores carry them. But when I went to Morocco, there were huge jars of preserved lemons. It was the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen. It was decorative, and you just wanted to know how they were using them. And they use them in tagines quite a bit. Side note on Morocco, you can see what I look like. That is the first country that I ever went to where I felt like I blended in. People thought I was lying when I told them I wasn't Moroccan. It was pretty amazing, actually. And it was a great experience. I went with my mother. We had the best time, but that's a story for another day. So you can see I'm not even looking. I'm not measuring anything. I'm simply filling these oranges. In a few minutes, I'm gonna smush them all down so I can get as many in as possible. I'm making 2 jars. I use the picklet system to ferment. It's an airlock system which allows bad air to get out and keeps the air that the bacteria needs to be anaerobic to stay in. If that's too scientific for you, don't worry. All you have to do is lightly cover this for 3 weeks. Check on it a couple times a week, make sure there's no mold forming. And if there are plenty of Facebook groups about fermented foods that can give you guidelines on, if your ferment has gone bad. But this makes it, this is really beautiful. I haven't gotten so adventurous that once my ferments are done, that I just leave it on the counter like they do in Morocco, because that's the next step for me. This is like I said, a brand new area for me, fermenting these oranges. And if you get a lemon or an orange or something with a lot of seeds, don't worry about it. They'll sink to the bottom. You won't even eat them. And it's gonna be, I've done this with lemons many times. My refrigerator, one of the staples in my refrigerator is fermented lemons, always. So one of the things I'm gonna do now so that I don't lose the space is I always have a pickling jar. So this is filled with different things, cumin seeds, not for this one because it's oranges, but cardamom, cinnamon, juniper berries. I have peppercorns in here. Cardamom is my favorite spice, so it's an Indian spice that I happen to love. Juniper berries go really great in here. I have some bay leaves. One of the things that was suggested to me was to put in some ginger, so I'm gonna put in some ginger at the end. And right now it's pretty full, so it's a good time to just muddle this down and smush to make more room. I've got cloves in here. Think about what would be great with an orange, And these are gonna be salty oranges, so you can use these on your yams for Thanksgiving. It's winter time here, so oranges and citrus fruits are really special. My favorite book growing up was Little House on the Prairie, and I remember reading a passage, and correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but she was really excited to get an orange in her Christmas stocking. And that was one orange, and that was her, or an apple or some kind of fruit. So apples and citrus, you have to find a way to preserve these. And you don't have to be too precious with these foods or make it look pretty. You just have to know that it's gonna turn out okay. And that the bacteria and everything is good bacteria. It's great for your gut. It's gonna heal you if you have any intestinal issues. I mean, really anything fermented is gonna be great for you if you eat it raw and it's not too processed. Pickles, sauerkraut. I'm gonna teach you how to make a lot of fermented foods along this path. And how gorgeous is that? I love cooking. It just creates so much beautiful food out of the most simple ingredients. One more thing to know about is that you do want to keep the jar covered. So I use a kitchen towel so that sunshine doesn't come in. I don't want any sunshine because sun is it kills bacteria. So we want the good bacteria to have a nice cozy home. So I just cover it with a kitchen towel and leave it on my counter so I don't forget to check on it. So this is day 5. You can see the bubbles in the work starting to happen. I'll just shake it up a little bit. And you can see those bubbles where the bacteria is actually creating its own anaerobic environment in there, and that is good news for us. I have this jar from Costco of Coma olives. I save everything. So I'm gonna fill this up for my friend, let her ferment it on her countertop with all the extra oranges that she gave me, because that's my gift to her. When people let me garden from their gardens, I always make them something special afterwards. I don't think we're gonna have enough for marmalade today, but my other girlfriend wants to give me some of her oranges, so we'll make marmalade with those next time. Have a great day. Here's to your health, that of the planet, and that of your families. Take care. Be well.